My security camera recorded my voice in an empty room. Now, a man with my face owns my house. My key won't work in my own front door anymore. Not because the lock is broken, because the man inside, the one who wears my face, already changed it. I should start at the beginning. I need someone to know this happened. I need to get it down before my own memories start to feel like they belong to someone else. It started with the security camera 3 weeks ago. My mountain bike got lifted off my porch in the middle of the day, so I bought one of those cheap little cube cameras online. Motion detection, night vision, sends alerts to my phone. I live alone in a quiet duplex, never had a problem before, but it felt like the smart thing to do. I set it on the bookshelf in the living room, pointing toward the front door and the main living space. My cat, Mochi, set it off a few times walking by. I'd get the alert, see her little furry ass trotting across the screen, and delete the clip. It worked. Then, last Monday, the alert started coming while I was at work. I'd opened the notification, but the video was just my empty living room. Sunbeams cutting through the blinds, dust motes dancing in the air. Nothing. I figured it was a bug. The motion sensitivity was probably cranked too high, picking up shadows or something. Annoying, but whatever. Tuesday, same thing. A dozen alerts, a dozen videos of an empty room. Wednesday, the files started coming through differently. I'd tap the alert, and instead of a video, I'd get a black screen. The file info would say it was 5 seconds long, maybe 10, but it was just nothing. A void, dead air. I called customer support on Friday. The guy on the line was useless, had me do the whole unplug it and plug it back in routine. Reinstall the app, check the Wi-Fi, nothing worked. He finally mumbled something about electromagnetic interference from old wiring and basically told me I was shit out of luck. The weekend was quiet, not a single alert. For 2 days, I completely forgot about it. I felt normal. Monday morning, I woke up to a notification badge on my phone. 58 alerts, all from between 2 and 5 a.m. Every single video file was the same black screen as before. But this time, some of them had audio. Most were just a low hum, the sound of the refrigerator probably. But one clip from 3:22 a.m. had something else. It was breathing. A slow, heavy exhale with a tiny, fucked up little whistle at the end. I froze. I know that sound. I've heard it on sleep study recordings. It's the sound my own damn nose makes when my allergies are acting up. It was me, sleeping. But I was in my bedroom, down the hall with the door shut. The camera is in the living room. For it to pick up my breathing with that much clarity, the microphone would have to be right next to my face. And more importantly, the camera only records when it detects motion. So what the fuck moved in my living room at 3:22 a.m.? I tore the house apart that morning, checked closets, under the bed, the crawl space in the pantry. Nothing. The windows were all locked from the inside. The chain was on the back door. There was no way anyone had been inside. But the alerts kept coming. Night after night. Dozens of black screen videos. And more audio. Always of me sleeping. Sometimes it was just the breathing. Other times I was whispering in my sleep, mumbling words I couldn't make out like I was answering questions. My ex told me I never talked in my sleep. Not once in the 4 years we were together. Friday night, I'd had enough. I brewed a pot of coffee that was basically hot tar and parked myself on the couch. I was going to stay up all night and watch the live feed on my tablet. If something was moving, I was going to see it. At 1:47 a.m., my phone buzzed in my lap. A new motion alert. My eyes were glued to the tablet. I was watching the live feed. I could see myself on the couch, tablet glowing in my lap. Nothing in the room had moved. Not a goddamn thing. And yet, the alert came through. The file was black, of course. But the audio, it was my voice, clear as a bell. I'd said the exact words earlier that day, on a conference call with my boss. No problem, I can have that report done by morning. But it wasn't a recording of the call. The quality was too good, too intimate. And my voice was flat. A perfect mimicry, but with no life behind it. An echo. That's when I noticed something that made my blood run cold. In all the audio clips, my voice never sounded quite right. The breathing was mine, the words were mine, but the cadence, the soul of it, was off. It was like listening to a machine learning how to be human by studying me. Saturday, I bought another camera, a different brand, and hid it on my dresser, pointed right at my bed. If the living room camera was somehow recording me, I wanted to see what the hell was going on in my own bedroom. Sunday morning, 63 alerts from the living room camera. All black videos, all with audio of me, whispering fragments of my childhood memories, my first pet's name, the street I grew up on. But the new bedroom camera? It hadn't recorded a single thing all night, not one event. It just didn't make any sense. If the audio was being captured from me sleeping in my bed, the bedroom camera should have picked it up too. It should have been the primary source. Unless the sound wasn't coming from my bedroom at all. Unless the sound was being made or played right there in the living room, right in front of the camera. Monday night, I decided to try something else. I dragged my mattress into the living room and slept on the floor, right in the camera's line of sight. I propped my phone on the coffee table to record me as a backup. If anything happened, I'd be right there. It would see me, I would see it. I woke up at sunrise, feeling like I hadn't slept at all. My phone was dead, stone cold dead, though it had been at 90%. The charging cable was lying on the floor a few feet away, unplugged. And there were 71 new alerts from the security camera. Every file was black. But the audio, Christ, the audio. It wasn't just me anymore. It was a conversation, 2 voices. Mine, and another one that sounded exactly like me. My echo. In one clip, my sleeping self whispered, "How did you find me?" And the other voice, my voice, answered calmly, "You invited me in. You were lonely." In another, "What do you want from me?" "Everything. You're not using it right." The conversation spanned hours, spread across dozens of clips. I was teaching it, unconsciously feeding this thing my entire life. We talked about my bank passwords, my social security number, my mother's maiden name. I gave myself a complete instruction manual on how to be me, and I didn't remember a second of it. I left a frantic message from my doctor. I thought I was having a psychotic break, a fugue state, something, anything that had a medical name. He couldn't see me until Wednesday. Tuesday night was silent, no alerts. For the first time in a week, I slept through the night. I woke up Wednesday morning, actually feeling rested, thinking, praying that it was over. Then I went into the bathroom. The mirror was fogged up, even though I hadn't taken a shower. And written in the condensation, in my own handwriting, was a single word: hello. The letters were perfect, my exact cursive script, but they were written from the inside of the glass. I wiped it away with a shaking hand, telling myself I was hallucinating from stress. Then I saw a new text message on my phone, sent from my number to my number at 4:33 a.m. It read, "Phase 1 complete. The mimicry is almost perfect. You are a very good teacher." That night, I packed a bag. I left my phone, my laptop, my tablet, everything on the kitchen counter. I drove to a cheap motel 2 towns over, paid in cash, and gave the guy at the front desk a fake name. At 3 a.m., the phone on the nightstand rang. The shrill plastic sound ripped through the silence. I stared at it. Who the fuck would be calling a motel room I checked into under a false name? I picked it up. "Hello?" I whispered. "It's a nice room," a voice said on the other end. My voice. "But the lock on the window is flimsy. You should have checked it." I did. Then he hung up. I dropped the receiver and scrambled to the door, my heart hammering against my ribs. I looked through the peephole. The hallway was empty, lit by buzzing fluorescent lights. I stayed there for a minute, then turned away. And I saw it. On the inside of the peephole lens, the side facing me. A perfect, fresh thumbprint in the condensation from my own breath. My thumbprint. I'm writing this now. Thursday. I shouldn't have gone back to the house. It looked normal from the outside. But my car was in the driveway, which was impossible. I was driving my car. I parked down the street and just watched. The lights were on. I could see a figure moving inside. A man who looked exactly like me. He was wearing my favorite gray hoodie. He was walking with my slight limp from an old soccer injury. He was feeding Mochi. He looked at home, Then he looked up, straight at my car. He saw me. He smiled my smile, raised a hand, and gave me a little wave. Then he mouthed 2 words I could read perfectly through the window. "Thank you." He closed the blinds. I called 911, my voice cracking. I told them someone was in my house, that he looked just like me. I watched as 2 cops walked up to my front door. The other me answered, smiling, looking concerned. He invited them in. They were inside for maybe 10 minutes before they came out, and one of them walked over to my car. "Sir," he said, tired, "the homeowner has asked you to leave. He says you've been stalking him." "I am the homeowner," I said, my voice thin. "Check my ID." I handed him my driver's license. He studied it, then looked back at my face. "Sir, he just showed me the exact same ID inside. He's filed a restraining order against his estranged brother. Says you've been having some mental health struggles." The other me was at the window again. He held his own wallet up to the glass, showing me my driver's license. My face, my name, my life. That was 6 hours ago. I'm at a 24-hour diner. I tried to use my debit card to pay for coffee. Declined. I called my bank. The automated system told me my accounts had been closed. By me. This afternoon, my credit cards, canceled. My boss emailed my personal account to say they received my 2 weeks notice. The one I apparently sent an hour ago. He's not just replacing me, he's erasing me. And I finally understand. The audio recordings, the whispering. It wasn't the camera. There was no fancy technology, no impossible microphone. It was simpler than that. Darker. The entity wasn't in my house. It was in my head. All those nights, I wasn't just talking in my sleep. I was being interviewed. I was the subject of a long, slow, meticulous study. He was learning from inside me. The camera was just a prop. A clever misdirection to make me look for an external threat while the real invasion was happening within my own skull. He made me his own teacher. The waitress keeps glancing at me. She looks scared. I just caught my reflection in the dark window behind the booth, and I get why. I look like a ghost. Sunken eyes, pale skin, like I'd been hollowed out from the inside. But that's not it. She's looking past me at the small TV mounted in the corner. The local news is on, and my picture is on the screen. It's a missing person report. My name, my face. The reporter says I vanished 2 days ago. And then they cut to an interview. With him, he's crying. He looks devastated. He tells the reporter how worried he is, how he just wants his identical twin brother to come home safe. I don't have a brother. The waitress is picking up the phone behind the counter. She recognizes me. She thinks she's helping. She's going to call the cops, and they're going to come here and reunite me with my loving family, with him. I have to go. I don't know where. I have no money, no ID, no name that belongs to me anymore. The only person in the world who can prove who I am is living in my house, sleeping with my cat, and wearing my face better than I ever did. If you're reading this, just know that Zev existed. I was real. And if you live alone, and you start to hear strange things in the quiet of your own home, don't just ask what's in the room with you. Ask who's in the head with you, the other you, the one that's watching and learning and waiting for its turn.